Hey everyone, I'm Wendell. If you don't know me already, I am showing up to YouTube to do something that I've given a lot of my clients advice to do in the past, which is to practice in public as a way of really understanding any concepts that you're trying to do. So I am a personal development coach, specifically one who is trying to merge the worlds of role-playing games, imagination and creativity, and personal development, along with developmental psychology and other fun theory of minds. I kind of bundle together in this thing called consciousness engineering. Now, you may have heard that term. I definitely stole it from Vishen Lakhiani, who is a great mentor of mine, one of those mentors that doesn't know that you're their mentee, but I've been following them for a really long time. And really, a lot of the work that I've been trying to do over the last few years is integrate all these different teachings that I've learned from these different teachers. I mean, that's pretty much what it means to sort of take your first steps as someone who is trying to be a teacher themselves. So my first year of being a personal development coach, I've had a decent amount of success, but I've been in that mode of kind of mimicking people and aping a lot of the stuff that I've learned that's super resonated with me. But I felt a calling to really start trying to make my own unique stamp on the field, which means being more myself. And so I wanted to document this process really just as a space to get consistent with making content, figuring out this whole YouTube thing, and giving myself the sort of freedom to create content, explore ideas, talk in a mode that feels very comfortable for me. I really like video. As a way to explore and play around with the ideas that are the most exciting for me, but might not be ready for prime time in any of my coaching programs or even say on my Instagram. The hope being is that maybe I'll talk my way into some gems that'll make it to either of those spaces. But right now, I really just want to set the goal of myself to create, drumroll, 100 videos on YouTube. I think I could do it in 100 days, but I'm not gonna set that goal. That's foolish. Really, I just wanna do it just to see if it can be done and see how it naturally wants to fit into my life. Again, just having a play space where I can explore, where I can connect with you, where I can explore these ideas that are really interesting to me is really important. So the first idea that I wanted to talk about and jam is this concept called making a true choice. I got this idea, or stumbled upon this idea, by a teacher of mine named Chris Duncan in his Superconscious Recode program. I was really sort of enamored by this program. I did the certification course specifically because I wanted to understand how to shift from a life of problem solving to conscious creation. Again, I have this inner core of myself that is a creative, that is an artist, that really likes the idea of, okay, I'm in this reality, I'm making all this stuff happen, and even the stuff that I don't want, that I might have some sort of responsibility for. Now, I know some people hear that and go, what about all the terrible things in the world? Hopefully by the time that I explore all these different ideas, we'll get to the parts of my own journey in which I sort of reconciled the experience of suffering in the world and the experience of people taking as much responsibility to be creators of their own reality. But I'm not there yet. Where I am is just exploring this idea of, if you are going to choose to change something about your reality, what type of things should you change about your reality? Now, that already brings up one word that I'm not super excited about, specifically the word should. But again, it's English. This is the only way that I can communicate these ideas at least a little bit clearly. So we're just gonna keep jamming on that. But the idea is to choose a true goal versus a false goal. Now, this is a fun sort of tension that gets created because what Chris made me understand, and what I've sort of observed in my own life and the life of others, my clients, my friends, family, etc., is that actually we live in a society where a lot of people are making false goals. Now, you might have heard this if you're in the personal development sphere of end goal versus means goals. I'm gonna throw that one out too, but I think it's one that we at least kind of understand right now, which is ultimately we all want the same thing. In theory, hopefully it's the same thing, but this is something that I believe. We want a life that we'd love to live. You might have seen this in all of my taglines, like, that's what I do, that's who I help. I help really high quality people overachievers get the life that they want to live. Because we can assume that all of us want this, that's kind of all of our end goals. But we all have different strategies for getting that. We all have different beliefs that will allow us to get to that place or not. So the act of choosing a true goal versus a means goal, in this case, a means goal would be the strategy. Like, I've decided to live a life that I want to live by making 100 videos on YouTube. Great, perfect strategy. It's totally reasonable for me to want to do that. But ultimately, I want to keep my eye on the state of having the life that I want to live. And if there's ever a tension, a lot of us will get confused and we will throw away our conscious awareness of the end goal so that we can be attached to the certainty of the means. And I think that's something that I want to explore. Something that I've run into as a coach and as an online content provider is that I really struggle defining what a true goal is. It's actually one of the things that's the easiest, at least for me, to define by saying what it's not. And the problem with means goals, or goals that are strategy goals, or the goals that we do on our way to this life that we would like to live, is that they usually reinforce negative beliefs that actually keep us from having that life in the first place. So, for example, I'd like to have a life that I want to live, and my goal right now is that I want to make 100 videos on YouTube. Now, I kind of know what that feeling state of having the life I want to live is, but the tangibles that I can sort of focus on with the life that making the YouTube videos is that I can track that, I can feel good about that, I can take these different steps. It's very clear. So people go for the certainty so that they don't ever have to deal with the uncertainty and the pain of not having the thing that they already want. Why is this a problem? Well, this is a problem because if I believed that I needed to do these 100 videos on YouTube in order to get the life that I live, that means I'd be bringing in the belief that I'm not ready to live the life that I want to live because I haven't done these 100 videos, or because I haven't made $1 million, or because I haven't gotten the relationship that I want, or so forth and so on. And so every time that I go after one of these goals, to get that end goal of just having a life that I want to live just because I love it, just because it's interesting, I teach a part of my brain that I'm not really allowed to have it. And even if I get this 100 videos, if I haven't attached myself to that feeling of that life that I want to live, of just making it for the sake of making it, creating it for the sake of creating it, well, I really won't have done what I was setting out to do. And so this is really the core of the teachings that I'm sort of trying to bring out into the world. So a true goal is one that does not reinforce any sort of negative beliefs that would hold you back. Some of the key negative beliefs that Chris Duncan talks about in his Superconscious Creator Program is the belief that you're not ready, that you're not perfect, that you don't belong, that you're not good enough. And there's always this fifth one that I don't remember, and I'm certain that's probably one that I need to work on. But essentially, if I want to have a goal, I have to check against all of these beliefs to make sure that I'm not making something that can allow me to hold on to an identity that ultimately isn't going to get me there. So I guess this would be my invitation for you all to explore what ways are you or are you not, do you have any goals? And in the goal of living a life that you'd want to live, what of those beliefs, I'm not ready, I don't belong, I'm not good enough, I'm not perfect, are you bringing into that space, that creating space, so that you can make something new? Later on, we're going to explore different mechanisms and goals that you can have that will push you in that direction. That's kind of the engineering portion, but I always like to start with the true goals because so much of the work can just be taken care of by really understanding this basic concept of move towards the stuff that you love, that you want, and is connected to the feeling state that you want to have, and then kind of just let the chips fall as they will, because if you're alive enough to continue to have that feeling, it means that you were supported enough to get it. And so it's really the litmus test that you should look for. So until next time, this is Wendell, and I should come up with a name for this series, but I'm not going to just yet. I'm just going to let it emerge over time. But thanks for listening.